All right, everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today I got a pretty special person here. I got Conrad Sewell. Thanks, Conrad, for coming in the studio today, mate.
Pleasure, mate. Anything for you?
This gentleman here is a bit of a big deal, probably the biggest person we've had on the podcast, and I'm really grateful, mate, that you're here today. Over 2 billion streams online, guys. The list is long. ARIA Award winner, 2 Billboard #1 hits, tours and collabs with Ed Sheeran, Maroon 5, Kygo, Vici. This guy's performed across the globe, Coachella, Madison Square Garden, and fresh in from the Grammys a couple of weeks ago and in the studio today. But one of the coolest things, this guy's a Brisbane boy, mate. What school did you go to again, mate?
I'm a Laurie's boy, mate. And you being a Villa boy, obviously there's the connect there.
Man, sorry about that. I probably should have said we don't have Laurie's boys on this podcast.
No.
You're a great guy. Honestly, one thing that I didn't put on there is you graciously helped us last year with the Mad Charity Ball. You were a headline act, and you helped raise over $325,000 for the Children's Hospital, which was a fantastic effort, mate.
Yeah, it was an amazing night as well, man. Congrats to you for pulling that up. I was just thinking about that night the other day and how special it was. So very, very proud to be a part of it, and maybe we'll run it back another year.
Bro, like it was the first time I saw you live, and the way you just interacted with the audience, bro. You jumped in on the dance floor. You were using people's names in your songs. I think you shouted out Tia, and everyone just loved it, man. Like people still tell me that guy was good, next level.
Yeah, I mean, I just love performing, man. That's how it all started for me, and that's when I feel like I'm most myself. You know what I mean? And I just feel like I know what to do on that stage. That's sort of like my home base.
And that's why I got you here, mate, because you have unlocked some serious potential. I mean, I'm not sure if all your potential's unlocked yet. I still think the world's got a lot more to see from you, mate. But, it all started pretty young for you. Like, if I would love to hear the story, mate. Like, were you just born into it? Did you? How did this whole industry start for you?
I mean, it started. The love for music was there from a very young age. My family, loved music. My grandparents were singers. So at about 8 or 9, I was sort of singing a lot just around the house, and as your parents probably would, you'd notice a young kid singing maybe more than
my
more
kids
than usual.
My kids aren't singing, mate.
Well, I mean, I think all kids sing right when they're young, but then at some point, if you start sounding all right, you're like, well, maybe there's something there. And my mum, God bless her, saw that in me quite early, and my mum wasn't a normal mum and was like, well, let's get him singing lessons or put him in the school choir. She was like,
a legend.
Why don't we go and make a record and make a demo? So at like 9, I went to my first studio and recorded with someone and heard my own voice on a CD. It was a pretty weird thing to do for a parent at that age, but that sort of immediately clicked my brain into, oh, this could be a dream. And it was like, and then obviously once you have that fire just built. I started writing my own songs, and at 13 I signed a development deal with Sony, and I loved sport and I loved, a lot of different things, but that was the one thing that was like felt that not everybody could do, that I could do well. And if I figured that out, then it was like the industry even like just felt like this untouchable thing that nobody could get into, or like, such a small elite a small group of people end up there on that Grammy stage or whatever. So I was like, well, I'm the best. I want to be there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it was that self-belief was there early on. It's been a hell of a ride to get there.
So you're 13 years old, bro. You're up on stage. You're hearing yourself. You get signed by Sony. So you just said then it's been a wild ride. Yeah. What happens next?
I mean, I think the second thing the first time I performed live, I performed at Sydney Town Hall, and I was 13, and it was probably about 1,000 people in the room, and I was so nervous, and I sang a Prince song, and it was for a charity event. The tsunami had just happened, actually, I remember. And that feeling I got when I finished the performance, it was like full body buzz, just thought I was the king of the world. Like that first feeling of admiration from a crowd and from anybody that, when I walked out, I mean, I was young, so everyone was like, that was amazing, blah, blah, blah. And that feeling that gave me was like, okay, cool, I want that feeling for the rest of my life.
Euphoric feeling?
Yeah, well, like nothing I've ever felt before. And as a kid, to get that early, that's a buzz that you chase for the rest of your life.
You still get that feeling?
Every time, yeah. I mean, even if I'm performing at like a mate's wedding or something like that, I still get nervous. Like I still care. That's the thing. It's because for me, you know, whenever I open my mouth and sing, I don't care if there's 2 people in the room or there's 25,000 in the room. I have to impress every person that hears me. Like in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, better leave them with something they've never heard before.
How you do anything is how you do everything. So you perform with 2 people or 20,500, 25,000, you're giving 100%.
It's like someone, I mean, I guess it's like a football player playing football. Like you don't just all of a sudden decide not to play. You know what I mean? So like that's the way I've always done it. You get that kind of feedback from a live performance because no matter what it is, I'm giving it everything. To a fault maybe sometimes because, you know, vocally, sometimes I should hold back a little bit. You know, I've seen singers and been on tours with great singers and I watch them perform and I'm like, why isn't he singing it like, you know, as hard as he should be or he's really pulling back on that song. You know what I mean?
Some people even lip sync, don't they?
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, that's a whole another bag of potato chips. But the fact that some people, you know, as a singer, sometimes you know, if you've got a long tour ahead of you, sometimes you shouldn't be going 100% out the gate every night because you're not going to last. So for me, it's negatively affected me sometimes because when I should be pulling back because my you know, on a health level, I'm just a stamina level, I still can't. Like, no, got to bleed for them tonight as well.
Brother, how do you prepare for this stuff? I mean, you know, I was at the F1 on the weekend and these guys got pretty crazy pre-race regimes and they're trained differently. I mean, how does a singer or entertainer, how do you stay prepared? How do you stay sharp when you know, and I can imagine, mate, there's times when you had absolute bombs drop. I mean, what I mean by that is crazy new albums or songs and you're traveling everywhere, right? How did you stay sharp in those times?
I think it's more like for me, you know, they say like, what is it, the 10,000 hours that you got to do before you get there. I did a lot of that when I was younger. I studied voice. I had, you know, vocal lessons from some of the best vocal coaches in the world. I performed nonstop, you know, 4 days a week, 3 hours a night. By the time I was a fully working musician and the muscle had built, you know, and it was, you know, I could get up and I could do the wrong thing and still get up and I could have a big night out and still back it up the next day. But so it's more like I trained my whole life for that moment. And now that when those things happen, I know how to figure it out and I know how to, you know, I can be adaptable. But yeah, so I guess it's hard work and now it's just about sustaining it. And, you know, that's another whole thing in itself. Mentally, you know, now I'm in a different stage in my life. I've got kids and that's, you know, I'm sleep deprived because of that. And I've still got to get up and do, you know, exactly, you know what I'm talking about. So, but that doesn't change. I've still got to put food on the table. I've still got to perform. I got to do what I got to do. And, you know, I mean, I think I've traveled more this month than I ever have. And I've never had less sleep. And that affects my voice now. So now I'm trying to, it's other hurdles. It's not partying with DJs now. It's partying with 4-year-olds. So, you know, I'm trying to, you know, you figure out it's the bullseye is always changing, you know, as you know, and it's, you know, you just got to, you know, do your best and show up and yeah, hopefully you figure it out. But I think that journey is what it's about.
It's all about the journey, mate. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. I mean, now, of course, I'm in the same boat as you. Seriously sleep deprived all the time with 3 young kids in my bed every night. And I've got to stay sharp in my industry as well. So I get that. But let's go back. Like, let's say I'm 18 years old and I want to get into this industry. Was it always easy, mate? Like, you know, you got signed young. It's so far from what it sounds like. It sounds pretty easy, but I don't think that was the case, mate. Surely not.
Well, I mean, that deal ended. Never amounted to nothing. Then at 16, I started my band. And
what was the band called?
We were called The Frets at first, and then when we had interest from a label, they wanted us to change the name, so we changed our name to Sons of Midnight. We got signed to Universal out of Germany, and
was there big money this time yet?
It was enough money for all of us to live in Berlin for a year, so probably $200,000 or something like that was on the table, which was used to sort of fund the band. I mean, it's not often that 5 Australians get signed and get moved to Berlin. So it was a sort of a weird deal anyway, and we were on tour with Avril Lavigne and all these Simple Plan and all these pop punk bands. But even before then, like, we had showcased for every label. We had everybody tell us no. I'd had everyone tell us no. There was some extreme hustling going on our behalf on my behalf before I started the band, and then when I started the band, I was the leader of the band, and it was very much me driving that. Let's go get a record deal. Let's take out credit cards. And, you know, we made our first EP. We all went into debt. We got credit cards. We borrowed money off our parents and whatever we could to pull this 50 grand together to make this EP, which never saw the light of day.
What's EP?
So an EP is 5 songs, like on so they call it, it's called extended play, but it was just an old school term for a CD essentially.
Yeah.
So instead of like any normal Brisbane band that would go pay a couple of $1,000s to the local Brisbane guy, I decided to find an international producer that was in Stockholm, and we flew him out. He'd written for a bunch of people that we really looked up to, and we rented this massive studio in Sydney, and we spent some money on it, doing it right. The guy actually ended up ripping us off and never delivered the EP, but we had one song from it. Oh yeah, so you've also got to get ripped off a few times before you make it. You've got to be dropped by a label 3 or 4 times, and then then maybe something will happen.
But bro, that's like everything in life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so just that stuff that happened. I mean, someone here yesterday was a real estate agent, and he wanted to quit like 5 times in his first year, was crying in the bathroom. Now the guy's a top agent in Australia.
Yeah.
Similar trait with this. I mean, how many times were you rejected, and how'd that feel like?
Oh, mate, it's so much. And also then even putting myself out there, I was rejected from peers and schoolmates, people like that. They're laughing at you because you're going for something that is out of the ordinary, and like, oh, what, you're a singer? You want to be a star? You think you're a superstar? And it's like, I mean, I went to an all boys school. Boys love to take the piss out of me for that. You know what I mean? It was like, you think you're better than us?
Should have come to Villa, mate.
And realistically, like, what was that? That was a kid that had a dream, and in any situation now, looking back, wouldn't you just go up and like tap that kid on the shoulder and be like, dude, that's so awesome that you're going for that, man. Well done. But I was ridiculed like no tomorrow. But that also kind of pissed me off a bit, and let put a little bit of a fire in my belly to be like, oh, well, I'll show you who's a superstar. And you showed him, bro. So, those little things all mixed together, and the no's, every time someone says no, it was like, yeah, it was disheartening. We'd have some massive, Jimmy Iovine from Interscope, or someone that, signed one of the biggest bands in the world, come to our show or come to the studio, and like, you'd be like, oh shit, it's going to happen. We're going to get a record deal. Like, this is going to happen. Like, and then they'd be like, yeah, it was a good song. Like, we'll keep an eye on you. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like, oh no. And it goes away again. And you can either sit in that like, oh, I'm not good enough, or like, there's another no. Or for me, I would sit in that for like half an hour. And by the time I got to the airport, I'd be like, all right, what do we do now?
Yeah, love it.
And that's that consistency, and that just like, for some reason,
persistence.
And because we were getting nods, and when I would sing, I just would feel there was a confidence there that I was like, I know these guys hear what I'm hearing. I'm not kidding myself. You know what I mean? Like, there's a voice there. It's a unique voice. I think I'm a star. I know you kind of agree with me, but you just won't open the checkbook. And so because that self-belief was there, I always felt like it will happen. You just got to stop. No, don't stop doing it. And then eventually the band thing didn't work out. I moved to America, and then I started writing, by myself, and I wrote Firestone, and I wrote Start Again, and a few of my bigger songs. And then,
how old were you then?
By that point, that's what I mean. Like, by that point, I was 27 by the time I moved to America. Like,
was that when the big ones came out?
That was when, yeah. So about 27, 28 was when my life sort of changed.
So we're not an overnight success.
No, not at all. And quite a late success, really, when you think about the age I started and the age I signed a deal. Went through 3 record deals before I signed one that actually worked. To be 28 and to have your first hit is not it's quite late.
I want to know exactly what it felt and how it happened. But for those listening, it takes longer than you think. The guy was rejected so many times, but he got over it, and he knew that every no, he was getting closer to a yes. Every no was getting closer to a yes, and he was persistent. And if you want to make it in this world, you got to be persistent, and you got to have self-belief, which you had. So you're 27, 28, you wrote Firestone, mate. What a hit. Tell me about that. How'd that happen?
I didn't have a record deal. I was living on my manager's, at the time, couch, and I'd been there for about a year. And I was
just LA?
In LA, yeah. And I was just writing a lot, and I was in Venice Beach, and I was riding with a friend of mine named Tinas, and we just had a week where we were just on fire. We were just riding. We'd written a few things that felt really good, and then we were driving down Venice Beach, and we saw a sign for the tyre company Firestone, which is, this type of tyre is called Firestone.
Really?
Yeah, and they're everywhere in the world. Actually, you'll see those shops everywhere. But we just thought it was a cool idea for it. At that time, EDM was very big. Tropical house, which is what Firestone was deemed, was sort of the first of its kind. And we wrote that song. It was just a string pad and the melody and the lyrics, and didn't think twice about it. It didn't feel any different to any other song I'd
How many songs have you written before that?
By that, I mean,
hundreds,
thousands. Yeah, thousands.
So before you hit your first big one, you'd already written thousands before.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I did trips to Sweden where I would write a song a day for 4 months, and if I remember crying on the train home one day with Pete, my guitarist, because we went to the studio and for some reason I just had nothing. I didn't have anything to say that day, and I took that as I'd ruined the trip, and like I was, like I wasted the opportunity, and that was insane to think about it. Because now, like, I would never be so hard on myself, but like, because it's like, mate, sometimes you just need to be inspired. But in my head, I was that delusional that I thought, man, I didn't write a song today. I failed. Like, our publishers are going to be mad. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, just working myself up into a tangent over just literally. I had nothing else to say that day. Do you know what I mean? And that happens, and that's just me. But that's sort of how, the pressure I put on myself to deliver at that age when I was quite young. But yeah, so to your point, I would write a song a day, and you got to write thousands of songs before you write a great one.
So this guy here wrote thousands of songs before he had his first big one, and you wrote it, Firestone, and it sounds like you didn't even think it was as big as it was at the time.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where I think the top line of the song, as in the melody and the lyrics, is beautiful, but it was just sort of a demo. And when Kygo was not Kygo yet. Kygo was not even an artist yet. He was on Spotify and he had these remixes, but he never put out his own original song. So luckily, when my label was trying to sign him, my record label that I was signed to in America, flew to Norway, and they didn't end up signing him. But when they were there at his house, his parents' house, they played him this demo of me, the artist that they had signed. Miles and Kygo liked the song, and they just done a deal with Sony, and so my label was like a bit pissed because they were like, why'd you make us fly all the way to Norway and you'd already signed a record deal? But that's a whole other story. But they did. The good thing that came out of it is that they did like that song. So Sony, that became the first song that Kygo would come out with, as this is my first single with me. And, it had 1 million streams a day it came out. It was just like a rocket that just went. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, I cannot believe this is the one, because I turned it off halfway through the song the first time I heard it, because I was like, what'd they do to my demo? What's all this? I'm like, it sounded very different. But so he added a lot of the production, like that thing. It was like, they called it Tropical House. And then it went on to be like its own subculture of dance music, and then that sort of...
It's like a movement was created, bro.
Yeah, so then that song became its own rocket, and then, that launched my career, obviously, and then I went on to put on my own stuff. And
so we're 28, we've done thousands of songs, finally this one's hit with Kygo. It's his big one as well, it sounds.
Yeah,
it sounds like
still to this day, I think it's his biggest song.
So then what happens, mate?
It was also the time that my label was pushing me, and I was about to hit Australia for the first time. I was about to go on tour with Ed Sheeran, and the stars were sort of aligning.
Everything's coming together. After thousands of songs, after being rejected, everything's starting to come together.
And the song had hit radio, starting to get played a lot, and so did my song. Start again at sort of at similar time. I remember I was about to come home to LA for Christmas, and I got a call like 2 days before I was about to fly home for Christmas, and I was like, you got to go to Norway. Like, the song's blowing up. You got to, so flew to Norway, and and there was like an arena full of people pretty much ready to hear this song. And then I flew back to Australia, and I remember touching down in Australia and hearing from Brisbane airport to my parents' house in Sunnybank, I heard Firestone from that time, Firestone and Start Again on the radio. So I went from never hearing myself on Australian radio to hearing myself twice in a 40-minute trip.
It blew up.
And that was like, oh wow. And obviously, because I was on tour with Ed Sheeran, and we played River Stage that week, and I'm looking up at lorries from River Stage being like, wow, it's finally happening.
What
you
did
know
that feel like, mate? From when you were at Laurie's and you had this dream to make it, and then you're there performing. What did that feel like?
I mean, I think here I felt it more than ever because I had my friends there, and like like even that, like the fact that I'm playing a stage and I can see my school from where I'm standing on the stage, and there's a few thousand people in front of me, and I'm on tour with one of the biggest artists on the planet. It's like it was very, very much like like we're finally here,
That's next level, mate. I can tell you got you felt that a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know why, but just I guess sometimes when you relive, I haven't talked that moment through in a while, but so yeah, I mean that was a really nice thing because I needed that.
I couldn't even try to imagine that. That's so cool though, and so inspiring. I mean, if you listen to this, you should be inspired. This guy, wasn't just given an opportunity; he had to fight for it, and then he finally gets it, and he can feel it, and he's looking at his old school, thinking, "I made that." Like that would have been the surreal moment.
Yeah, and I think you need those checkpoints. I mean, obviously, like I said, and maybe you don't get them that obvious, but I think it's lovely when you do get that. When I won the ARIA for Song of the Year as well, I got that moment as well, because in an industry that you never feel validated in. I mean, I know there's a lot of industries like that, but in an industry that's literally, it's all about validation. Like I'm on a stage every night trying to get someone to like me, essentially. You know what I mean? That's what performing is, right?
You want them to go,
you want everyone to be like, well, they're either going to say you suck or they're good, right? So that you were seeking validation from a crowd. And the nice thing is then when you start playing your own shows and everyone's bought a ticket, it's a little bit easier to get that validation, right? Because they already like you. They've paid $60 to come and see you, or $100 or whatever it is. In a industry and in a life that I've searched out for validation my whole entire life. Love me, love me, love me, love me. Accept me, accept me. Say that I'm good enough, which is, a very hard place to be in, and not a very nice mental state to be in for the majority of your life. Because I think, obviously life's hard enough, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to feel that, but I think a lot of entertainers feel that, and I've always felt that, and that's caused its own struggles for me. And like, when I did get the ARIA and I had that moment, and I remember standing on stage, and it was actually Ed who gave me the ARIA as well, and losing it a little bit because I finally felt validated by the industry. Then, like, oh, I am good enough, and like,
wow,
we won Song of the Year for Start Again. It's like, wow, I grew up watching this show, and like, I remember, like just thinking, I think maybe one day I'll be there, but still being like, I probably won't be though. You know what I mean? Like, it probably won't. Like, will it really happen? Like, and then you get that moment, and it's like, it's overwhelming. I think it's amazing when you can pinpoint throughout your journey that you get that tap on the back.
Brother, what I hear is, and I interviewed quite a lot of successful people in their own industry now, mate, and you are a megastar, bro. Don't you forget that. You're ARIA award winner, but even an ARIA award winner, even someone who's traveled the world and is still, got so much to give the world, has self-doubt. It's normal to feel, am I actually doing, am I still relevant? Can I still come up with new songs? Some of the stuff I've heard from people, and even me myself, brother, you're not a robot, you're a human being. But I think it's nice that you actually, especially with what you do, mate, you really got to feel the people.
What I love about this journey of life in general, whether it's music or whatever it is you're doing, I think if you, even like right now in my life, like I'm trying to figure out my next, I've just started my own record label, and I have an album that we've made, and now I'm like on a business side, I'm doing things that I've never done, and I'm trying to work that out, and that's creating its own stresses and its own doubts and whole new, bunch of things that I'm trying to figure out. And I've still got to deal with the performance side of it and still try and stay relevant and
that's what I was actually
all that kind of stuff. So, but that inspires me, and it's just like, I guess that's what it is. Like, that is, if you're not moving or setting new goals or even going through something, maybe you're not in a great place, and maybe it's, it is right now, it feels like, gosh, I'm drowning right now. Like, even just walking through that in whatever way that goes and figuring that out is what you're supposed to do to get to the other side of that. And that's life. It's the people that sit still and then just don't even try and push through it that, you end up
keep on climbing, mate.
giving up. It's like, it's like I said, the bullseye's always moving. You just got to keep shooting.
So where are you at now? So now you got 3 beautiful children?
Yes, 3, yeah. They're very hard and very...
A whole other set of challenges, brother.
Yeah.
But not just I don't want to paint the picture just to be challenges on the record.
No, it's
beautiful.
It's everything. And it's such a different place to be in, because I think the other side of that is that what I do is a very selfish career. It's me. Praise me. My whole life it's been about like Conrad. How do I make Conrad Sewell famous? Even that as a concept is a sort of a selfish place to be in. So to then have kids and all of a sudden my life be about not be about me and like me them. I don't want to wake up. Well, I have to wake up. I don't have a choice, do I? Like
you have a big night, you got to wake up to them.
Exactly. I mean, you know what it's like. It's the most selfless job you can do, right? So that's been a challenge for me to sort of figure out.
What I just thought of then is how do you manage that, man? Like how you're an international superstar. You said you traveled more this month than you've ever traveled before, right?
Mm.
With the kids, how do you juggle that, man? Like, do you go, Sunday or when I'm back, I turn the phone off? Like, tell me what you do.
Obviously, you've got to have a supportive partner at home, and I do. And well, you don't have to, but you're very blessed if you do. And my wife Jasmine, is
shout out Jasmine,
is there with the babies every day, and so I have that support system there. And I get you just got to. It's very hard at the moment because they are young and they don't completely understand why dad goes away, every week. And my 4-year-old definitely feels it a lot. My 2-year-old now is she's starting to notice more. I try and spend as much time with them as I can. You know what I mean? When I am
Quality
there.
Time.
Yeah, which is hard. It's not easy to be present with 4-year-olds and 2-year-olds because they're not doing shit you want to do. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like my boy doesn't even kick the soccer ball with me yet. Do you know what I mean? Like he's like he wants to, go and stare at an ant for like 20 minutes.
Brother, has it changed your... Like, I have no doubt when you were 14, 15 years old doing the Sony deal, your life goal was probably megastar, right?
Mm.
Now you got kids. Has that changed?
It has, and it's been a really... Some people would look at me and be like, he's done. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think even my mum thinks that a little bit. Like, well, I guess that's the career over. What it's done for me is I worry about being able to provide for my kids and being able to send them to good high schools and to do all that sort of stuff, because all I've ever done is music, and music, even with the success I've had, it's not consistent. It's not easy to stay making great money in this industry unless you break through and you are one of the biggest stars on the planet, and it's just like you Taylor Swift money. You know what I mean? Like it's ups and downs. I know bands that have had number ones around the world and they're broke. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm just sorted. I'm going to have to reinvent myself and work hard. And if I think I will generally do music for the rest of my life, I'm not a CEO at a bank and my income's the same every year. And
yes.
I know I'm already picking the schools for my kids. I don't know where I'm going to live next year, let alone like what school my kids are going to go to. My life changes every year. That lack of security is a fear of mine, and I worry about that a lot. Yeah. Because obviously you just want to give your kids everything and you want to give them stability. My life is not stable in the sense of like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that their dad leaves every week and we never know when sometimes it's like, don't know when I'm coming back. So that instability worries me. There's not much I can do about that. I've just got to have to figure it out as I go and just try and be as, great a dad as I can and be, like I said, work on patience and presence and things that kids, actually see, because buying them things doesn't actually, they just want your time. You know what I mean?
We've got a lot of things in common, mate, and I'm going to help. We're going to talk about buying some more properties. I think that'll help.
Yeah, mate. I mean, I think I bought our house when we did, and even little things like that, just having that stability feels great. But you just got to keep working. I've got to keep working hard on myself and on my career, and
you got to keep growing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is, I think that's what it's all about, and trying to move through things that have been holding you back, create like a focus there again,
So we're going to buy some commercial properties and some more resi properties, and that's going to help you with that stuff.
That would be good.
So then
I'll come to you for the loan.
your passive income will be so high that you're purely doing it for fun reasons. You probably blow up even more.
I love it.
We'll talk about that offline when you come over with Jasmine and the kids for a swim, which we never did.
I like it.
Barbecue.
We do need to do that.
So there you guys have it. I mean, I've still got more to unpack here, but man, it's so interesting. So many different industries on this planet, mate.
Yeah.
And so many people would look at you and just go, this guy wouldn't have anything to worry about. But mate, you guys got 3 kids.
Yeah.
The guy could blow up and have to move to America next year. It's not all sunshine and rainbows in that industry, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I took the kids to America last year, and we were there for the year because obviously that's where a lot of stuff happened for me. And
where do you set up when you're in America?
So we had a house in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And America's not cheap at the moment. And
what's it like living over there, mate, for a year with the family?
It was definitely it was hard because I was on a plane every month to come back to Australia to earn the money that I needed to earn to pay the mortgage here and to pay the rent there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it was essentially it didn't work. It was just like we thought it would be easier to be there with the opportunities, but because Australia's my biggest market, a lot of my work comes from here, from touring and corporate gigs and everything like that.
Plus, it would have been hard, mate, without any support really with the kids.
Well, yeah, then so now I'm just leaving them there in America instead of leaving them here. So,
yeah.
I'm earning it mostly Australian dollars at that point. So it's like, it just didn't end up making sense. So
home base is now here.
We moved back to Brisbane, yeah. But until the next international hit happens, it's like once that happens, then the income changes again, and it's your royalty checks in US dollars, and you're getting.
So you'd need to stay in a pretty positive mindset with such uncertainty, really. Next month. I may have gigs and may not have gigs, or in 6 months' time, and then of course the pressures of like, okay, this kid's going to go to school. Do I start thinking, villa? Oh, sorry, Laura's mate. Should I put their name down? Like that's a fair bit. How do you stay sharp, mate? Like, what do you do to stay in the best mindset? How is Conrad still in the best mindset most days?
I mean, I think the only thing that essentially changes that for me is working out, which, and like I said, I'm not always in the best mindset. Like, that's just, first of all, say that.
You're human.
I've been through my things. I've been through, addiction. I've numbed myself and sometimes I'm not in a great place. One thing I find immediately changes that for me is working out, like moving my body, like, it could feel like the world's ending, and then I go into a 45-minute workout, and I walk out and be like, "Oh God, it's not ending."
I'm back.
Do you know what I mean? And I also hate working out, but I do that because it's like.
How often do you do it?
I do it without a doubt 3 times a week, but I've done it for a long time, like over a decade, because I knew it did mentally. It was anything that would help me pull myself out of a rut. And also I love food, so I easily put on weight, and I love beer way too much as well. So they kind of have to do that to,
You're normal, mate. Don't worry.
I have to balance it out somehow. And I put a bit of weight on after I had Memphis. I was chunking out for a bit then. So
you look good now.
Sort
though.
of made myself a bit
now,
of a. Thank you. Sort of made myself at least 3 times a week.
Walking, like go to gyms.
Yeah, I lift weights, and I'll go for a run or whatever. But at least lift weights.
That's a common trait to everyone in that chair, mate. The number one common trait, is moving, is exercise, is walking 7 days a week, gym 3 times a week. This is what someone said yesterday, and Vince Sorrenti, that comedian.
Yeah.
I remember going to lunch with him once, and he has to walk on to make everyone laugh. It's the same as you. You need to make on and get everyone to laugh. And I said to him once, mate, how are you like always in a good mindset when I see you? He goes, "Oh, George, I have to exercise 7 days a week. If I don't, I'm depressed." I said, "Really? You being dramatic?" He goes, "No, I'm serious. If I don't sweat every day, I'm depressed."
Wow.
It's pretty full on. And even yesterday,
that makes sense, yeah.
Even I'm thinking about walking 7 days a week now as well, because it does something
for me. A walk's
for me.
great. I mean, yeah, walking is incredible for your health. And I also love walking though. So I think but what I'm struggling with at the moment is the kids it's so full on with kids, and like I said, it's the best thing in the world. But it's easy at the end of the day to want to numb out because you're so over.
Have a whiskey.
You're so done.
Have a whiskey
and then so like trying to balance that and work and your relationship and like there's all these things that compound. And it's like, it's easy to just not go do the workout or not go for a walk. But even if you know this is what you should do. So
I always put life into sort of 3 buckets for me, and I check on it every month, right? I've got the personal bucket, the George bucket, I've got the family bucket, and the business bucket. Right. Sometimes I'm putting too much in the business, in which case maybe the personal. I'm doing the Scotchy at night as my unplug, which is not the best.
Right.
And I've got to keep the family good, so maybe that one's a bit high. So then my bucket's really low. Every month I reflect, and I can rearrange stuff.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I think that getting some type of balance, I think that takes time as well. And like, there's also things that it just is what it is. We're in a hard part in our life right now. I've got 3 kids under 4. No matter what way you slice it.
Whoever says it's easy is bullshitting. It's not easy.
It's not. It's the hardest thing ever. And, you're also trying to create good humans, and like, you have what you worries about that. You're trying to teach them, and, when they're... You're learning to be a dad as well. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You're a new father, mate. You've only been doing this 4 years. It's not easy in the beginning. And even me now, I'm not going to lie. This morning is pretty hard, getting 3 kids in a car ready to go to school, and you're going to come in and you're going to be the positive guy. Unless you do those daily habits, go for the walk, listen to meditation music. There's a fair few things I do for me to be sharp when I walk in. And if I don't do it, I can feel it. Yeah. I can definitely feel it.
Yeah, it's like having the time to do that as well. Like when you get time to do you got to wake up at 4 to do the work.
I do. I literally wake up at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
But it's even more important for you to nail what you must do before you jump on stage. I would love to just hear the process you must go through to really give it all.
It's very mental for me, and it depends on if I'm healthy at the time or whatever, but it depends. If I'm hungover and I'm trying to sing through a show, that's a very different preparation to when I wake up and I've gone for a workout, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like an idiot sometimes because I'll have a big night and I've got I have a big show that means a lot to me, and now instead of just having to prepare for that show, I have to mend myself physically and emotionally.
Water,
it's
shower.
Like, all right, get the hydration going. Like, how are we going to get out of this one? That's the worst, and I've been in that situation way too many times.
So that's not the best one. What's the best one?
But the good one is vocal warm up is key. I sort of check into a mental space where I don't really talk to anyone when I'm the day of, which is hard because
is it because you want to try and be in a good mindset? You want to.
I'm just vocally. It's just it's not necessary. I don't the less you can talk, the better on a day that you're singing. Talking, you're sitting down there in your throat, and it's a muscle at the end of the day. A voice is a muscle, so it's exactly the same as if you're about to go on a 30K run. You know what I mean? You're not going to be running on.
No.
Go for a run before you go on a run.
Yep.
So warm up. I hydrate like crazy.
How much water are we talking?
6 liters minimum.
Really?
Yeah.
You'll do 6 liters of water before you jump on stage?
I'm peeing all day.
Yeah.
And all night. And up to the very last minute I get on stage. The teas, I have throat coats, these teas I bring in from the US, and just, sort of get myself in a zone and don't talk to anyone and put some headphones on and I do a warm up. I studied with a guy named Ron Anderson, who is an incredible vocal coach. One of a kind, and taught Axl Rose, Michael Jackson, so many amazing singers.
Wow! So is he helped with this?
He's actually not with us anymore. He passed away a couple of years ago, but he had
in peace, mate.
He had a skill set that nobody in the world had. Essentially, he sort of founded a type of singing, and the way that the body works with the voice. Singing through your stomach and using your pelvis muscles, and it's when you sing right, it should feel good actually, and you should be able to sing for a few hours and it not be like my voice is gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like running in the right way or whatever. And he could teach you things, notes that sing it in a certain valve, and it would just pop into the right spot, and you would be like, oh shit, that felt easy. And actually, a friend of mine, he's actually writing a book at the moment to try and, because he's probably spent Taylor from Hanson actually. He at 13 was when Ron came in because his voice was breaking. Obviously, Hanson were a huge band in the 90s, and he had to go on tour with the guys and sort of coach them through that break. So he probably had the most time with this guy. He's probably was with him for about 30 years. So he's sort of collected all of his techniques and thoughts, and they're going to put it into a book because he learned from like Gregorian monks and stuff that people don't know the technique. So I'm blessed to be able to have worked with him and get a few good years from Ron. But so just that knowledge and knowing what I need to do, what I don't need to do, I have this one warm up tape that's Ron talking me through it, and
so you still listen to Ron every time you go on?
Every day, yeah. Most days I'll do a warm up and listen to that same tape, and it's like a 40-minute warm up, and it sort of gets me at least vocally ready.
That's pretty next level, mate.
Yeah, it's good to have those systems that you just can get you back to sort of baseline.
Is it heavy breathing? Is it now Conrad breathe in 3 times, or is it?
It's more like just scales and stuff like that. But like he's correcting me in the vocal take. Like I can still hear him being like and now no push out.
And
now,
this is a
and
tape custom to you.
Yeah, it's just me. I would record my lessons with him, and then so I just go back and listen to it. The lesson is essentially him warming me up. It was the last tape I have. I was performing. It was the warm up I did with him, and so the 45 minutes I spent with him before I went and sang on like Ryan Seacrest's radio show, and in the morning it was like a 6 a.m. morning radio performance, and one of the first I had to do for Firestone. And Leo, the head of my label, when he saw that performance, he sent it around to the whole company and was like, "That's how you do morning radio."
Wow.
And I was like, so I just always remember my voice being ready at like 6. To be able to sing in the morning is quite hard.
Of course.
Because the voice just isn't awake. You know what I mean? It's like sucks singing in the morning. So when you do morning radio and morning TV, it's like you got to wake up at like 3 in the morning just to warm the thing up.
Habits. You've stacked your habits, and that's how it's no luck. You are doing the things which make you perform at your peak. Still to this day, you're probably in the industry 30 years now, and you're still listening to a tape before you go on for 40 minutes because you know that gets you in the mindset. And this guy's even passed. That's amazing that his legacy is still going on. Or what's his name again? Ron
Anderson was his name, yeah. And you look him up, he's worked with some incredible singers. So, yeah.
So actually, on that one, I'm actually going to shout out. I'm going to shout out that it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's real important to find people who've walked the path before you. This guy wasn't just accidentally helped you out. He helped Michael Jackson out. He helped out many other singers.
Yeah.
And so he had the formula to get you to perform at your peak. I mean, I've got a leadership coach, and I know for sure athletes in all different industries, business coaches, they all exist.
Yeah,
you need to get help from these people.
You need mentors, and you need people that know how to do it better than you do, and you learn from them. It's like, you don't want to play tennis with somebody that's shitter than you. You want to play someone that's better than you, so you can get better. Brother,
this was the best podcast I've done so far.
Oh, thank you, brother. You're sweet. No, it was a great chat, and I appreciate you, and it's good to be here.
You're a great guy. I'm going to keep watching you. I'm going to keep talking with you, and I'm going to do a barbecue with you and your family, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to help you buy some commercial properties to replace your income with passive income.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've got to feed these kids.
You've got to feed the kids, mate. Get them in the villa. I mean, Lawrence. But thank you very much, mate. You're a legend.
Cheers,
I really
dude.
appreciate and respect your time.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks, mate.